Greetings CS157 students. This is going to be our first demo of some Java program. We will use codingbat because it's convenient and you can just type in a few lines of code and try them out in a web browser. Who can argue with that? So you've already done your Python exercises in codingbat, and to start out with, we'll do the exact same exercises in Java in codingbat. And that way we'll be able to see that Java is the same, except that everything is just a little bit different. So we're going to start with near100, which is not, it's in the warm-up exercises. It's not one of the ones that I've assigned. And I have two tabs here. One tab is over in the Java side, one over on the Python side. All right. Let's start by looking at the function declarations. So in codingbat, you're writing a function, a subroutine, and it provides you with the function declaration, and then you add the inside code. So this is what you're familiar with. We have a function or a subroutine called near100. It has a parameter called n. So whatever number that the calling program puts as the parameter will get assigned into the variable called n inside your program. Over here on the Java side, well, it looks different, but we don't have the word def. Okay. We do have the name of the function as near100. We do have the parameter is called n. But as I mentioned in the assignment handout, we have to declare each of our variables. So by declaring a variable, that says what type of data goes in the variable. And here we have to say that this variable has to have an integer. If it doesn't have an integer, it isn't happy. It won't work. Over on the Python side, we didn't have to say, and we could have put anything in there. The other thing that we've declared here is this over here is declaring that near100 has to return a Boolean. If it doesn't return a Boolean, then it will complain. So let's see this in action. Over here, let's just try returning. That's going to be returning a string. Okay? All right. So if I go, it runs this subroutine, and this subroutine always returns this string called maybe, and that's always wrong. It didn't complain, it ran it, and it always returned maybe. Over here on the Java side, let's try that. Notice that I have to put a semicolon at the end of every line of code. All right, so there's my semicolon. Otherwise, it's the same return maybe. And I run it, and it never even tries it. It just says, I have a bug, incompatible types. A string, which is maybe here, can't be converted to a Boolean, which is what it wants for the return value. So this is a function which has been declared to return a Boolean. I tried to return a string, and it says, no way, I'm not even going to try to run your program. I can see that's not acceptable. All right, so how can we fix that up? Well, let's just say, let's try returning false. And notice that this is a lowercase f false. Python, it's an uppercase false. Okay? And that it will take. And it will try it, and it will tell me when false is the correct answer or the incorrect answer, right? Okay? So over here on the Python side, I could do the same thing, except I hit the wrong tab. Over here on the Python side, we could do the same thing, return false. And the same story. If the input was supposed to be, if the result was supposed to be false, we're okay. If the result was supposed to be true, we're not. So we have the exact same test data with the exact same answers over here. All right? Okay. Now, let's start actually coding this thing. So what we want is we want what? We want if n is within 10 of 100. So if n is from 90 to 110, then I want to return true. Let's do this in Python. I'll just say diff equals 100 minus n. All right, so if n is below 90, then I'll get some, if n is 80, that'll be 20, right? If n is 90, that's 10, that's 91, that's 9, right? So from 90 to 100, that goes from 10 down to 0. And then when I get to 101, that becomes what? That becomes minus 1, because 100 minus 101 becomes minus 1, right? Minus 110 becomes minus 10. Minus 11 is too far, right? So I'll take the absolute value. Let's just try this right now. If less than or equal to 10, all right, else return. All right, so this should take care of 90 to 100 correctly. So 90 works because 100 minus 93 was 7. 100, okay. 100 minus 89. 89 too far is away. That's okay. Okay. Oh, look at this. 110, 100. Whoa, wait a second. 100 minus 110. We get minus what? We get minus 11. All right. This thing, 111, is too big. We got true. Why? Because this is minus 11. Minus 11 is less than 10, right? Minus 21 is less than 10. We are really screwing up here. Why don't we do the absolute value? Ah, looks better, doesn't it? Okay. So if it's within 10 of 110, okay. If it's further than that away, this is 11 away, this is 11 away, this is 21 away. Minus 21 becomes plus 21, absolute value, right? Minus 101, that's far away, all right. So all those are working, and we only have a problem when we get near 200, because I gotta look for the 200 case. Okay, if I'm close to 100, I want true. If I'm close to 200, I want true. These are close to 200. I'm not getting true. All right? All right. Let's see what this looks like, this half-working solution over on the Java side. I got to declare my variables. There's nothing like that in Python. And here they show me how to do a math.abs. Won't show me how to do an abs. And I got to remember to put the semicolon at the end. And then finally, what we'll do is an if statement. And you recall from the handout, I have to put parentheses. Aside from the parentheses, that looks the same, right? And I have to put a semicolon at the end. So I had to declare this thing. The abs function looks a little different, not spectacularly different. I have to put parentheses over here. But otherwise, this code is identical to the other code, right? Okay, and if I run it, let's run it. And that should look very much like what this guy looks like. So over here it's correct except for the numbers which are close to 200. And over here it's correct except for the numbers which are close to 200. Okay, so we got it at least half working. Let's see if we can fix up the numbers which are close to 200. I can actually declare two variables in one line. All right. I could have made two int statements. All right. I could have made, but I put them together into one. Okay. So now I'm going to see how far away it is from 200. Okay, so we can look at this code like this. Here we declare two variables. We see if it's how far away it is from 100. If it's within 10 of 100, we return true. We see how far away it is from 200. If it's within 200, we return true. Otherwise, we return false. All right? And we would do the same thing over on the Python side. It's just that it wouldn't have the semicolons. We wouldn't have to declare the variables, but you can see what the Python code would look like. We wouldn't have to have the parentheses in the F. All right? Happiness? Okay.